At 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And the Fox 61 News at 10 begins tonight on the heat. It was a sweltering day with little relief in sight. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. It's day one of what's considered an early season heat wave. All across the state, people were looking for ways to cool off. Governor Ned Lamont has activated hot weather emergency protocols, and that means cooling centers are open and anyone can use them.
And we have team coverage on the weather tonight. Fox 61's Jake Garcia spent the afternoon talking with energy experts to learn about the strain this heat is putting on our state's electric grid. But first, we begin with Chief Meteorologist Rachel Frank and a look at the forecast.
Rachel, it doesn't look like air conditioners will get a break anytime soon.
Nope. Actually, they're probably going to be working even harder as we head through the next couple of days. I think the hottest temperatures have yet to come, and that will be during the day on Thursday. And then Friday afternoon, we'll get some showers and storms that will eventually break our heat wave as we head into the upcoming weekend. But it's not just the heat, it's also the humidity as well, and that could make it feel like up to around triple digits at times. We also have these humid nights as well, which for people without air conditioning units in their homes can be awful because you're just looking at the homes getting warmer and warmer, especially with these consecutive hot and humid days and no real relief at night to help cool off your homes. It's the hottest inland. It's still hot and humid at the coast too. We're still sweating, but nowhere near as intense. We wanted to let you know about this again through Friday for planning purposes. A heat advisory in effect away from the Connecticut shoreline. The shoreline is where temperatures will be a little bit cooler, but elsewhere it will feel like between 95 to near triple digits. Maybe higher than that for Hartford and Tolland counties. The National Weather Service is keeping an eye on that, which is why there is an excessive heat watch there. Right now, we're looking at temperatures in the 70s to around 80, overnight lows in the 60s to near 70 as we head towards daybreak tomorrow. And we do it all over again, except we'll add a few degrees to the high temperature, low to mid 90s as we head through the afternoon. And here's a look at that heat index by noon, feeling like mid 90s, and by 3 o'clock, feeling like triple digits. We're going to talk more about the storms that will break the heat. Your full forecast coming up in just a bit.
With this stretch of hot weather, air conditioners will be working overtime.
And that has some energy companies asking customers to conserve energy in hopes of reducing the stress on the power grid.
Fox 61's Jake Garcia is in studio with more on how utility companies are preparing for the prolonged strain. Jake.
Well, Brent and Sarah, we're already learning in the last hour or so that some of these utility companies are actually already doing controlled outages. So if you live in Norwich, and you may have noticed that the power went out around 9 o'clock tonight and lasted for about 25 minutes. That's because the Norwich Public Utility was doing some maintenance to prevent more outages during the day. Power has since been restored, and that's why utility companies across the state are asking for help from their customers to keep the lights on during this heat wave.
We got the central air, thank God, so we keep it on 72 all the time.
Whether you use central air, a window unit, or just fans, people across the state will be using more power to keep their homes cool this week.
Thank God for the guy that invented the air conditioners. I mean, he's my hero.
Connecticut utility companies, both big and small, are preparing for the added strain on the power grid. Norwich Public Utilities serves roughly 45,000 customers and is asking people to conserve power to reduce the strain on their critical infrastructure.
So it's the wear and tear on our system. Transformers, poles, wires, distribution lines, transmission lines. All of them are working very, very hard to bring electricity to folks. And over the course of 3 or 4 days, it's going to create issues if it doesn't get a chance to cool down and rest, for lack of a better term, overnight. That's why we're asking people to decrease their use a bit, because it'll help with us trying to maintain a reliable system.
While they may be a smaller utility, which could be prone to more outages during the sweltering heat, they say their crews are ready for any possible outages.
We're getting all of our equipment, material, and people in place in case we have an emergency. It's no different than if a big storm is coming our way. And then it's responding quickly and effectively should we run into an emergency. But fortunately today we haven't had any outages. Things have gone very smoothly. And it's just a matter of monitoring things over the course of the next 24 to 72 hours.
Eversource, who serves nearly 4 million customers statewide, said they're closely monitoring the grid during the next few days when demand is through the roof.
And part of our preparations for this heat wave include ground and aerial inspections of the electrical system. That way we can proactively detect or address any issues that may come up. And we also have remote system operators, so they're always watching the system and they're able to actually remotely reroute power or shift around resources as necessary.
While neither company expects any major outages during this heat wave, they both say this is the time when people can help lower their bills in the future.
Because when we purchase power, it's based on our peak demand days during the course of the year. So if we can keep that peak lower, it's going to help us save money for our customers.
And here's just a few tips to help you conserve energy in the coming days. Set your thermostat to 72 or higher. Wait until after sunset to use major appliances like a dishwasher or even doing laundry or even using your oven, which also generates heat. We have a full list of other ways you can conserve energy during this week on our website, fox61.com. In studio, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jake, thank you. And whenever we enter a stretch of dangerously hot weather, it puts some people at risk. And that's why Hartford officials spent the day reminding residents to stay cool and check on your neighbors. Fox 61's Matt Karen spoke with locals and city leaders about what you need to know to stay safe and shaded.
Well, this is a time when you just can't overestimate how hot it can get. Baking in the midday sun, even some of this playground equipment can get too hot to touch. And as the week wears on, it's just going to get worse. Connecticut's capital city has opened all their splash pads. But their public pools are another story. On this day, the Goodwin Park pool still bone dry for repair work and acquiring lifeguards.
There's construction being done on some of our pools. We're also, hiring up lifeguards for the summer. We hope to have announcements on that coming soon.
Hartford Mayor Arunan Aralampalam asked residents to look out for each other.
When we have these heat waves, unfortunately, people in communities like this die all the time. Check in on all of those around you who may be vulnerable. Those who are elderly, those who are young kids, those who with pre-existing conditions, your pets.
During this time of extreme heat, the city has opened 13 cooling centers. 6 of them are public libraries.
Aside from them being cooling centers, they also offer a lot of programming and resources that you're able to access while you're in the space being cool.
We visited the Park Street Library, a cool space, literally and figuratively. A place to eat, use the bathroom, or charge your device.
I think it's a good idea. I mean, you want to have a nice, relaxing, safe place, AC, so that you can go and take it easy if you're not hitting the beach, if you're not going to a pool.
Hartford fire officials say they'll be making sure everyone has access to hydration.
We will be driving by and handing out water, also visiting all of our cooling centers to make sure our residents in those cooling centers have water as well.
To find a cooling center near you, you can call 211 or 311. And let's face it, the sun isn't the only thing flaring during this time of extreme heat. Tempers can flare too, which typically leads to a spike in violent crime. The mayor told me that the police department is working proactively to make sure the community stays safe. Reporting in Hartford, Matt Karen, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
And Connecticut's news station is committed to covering this first heat wave of the season. For hour-by-hour updates from our weather team and resources to help stay safe and cool, stick with Fox 61 on air, online, and on the free Fox 61 news app. Well, state police are still investigating tonight after a fatal crash on I-95 North in Branford this morning. Police say 24-year-old Josiah Steinman of New Haven hit a car that was parked on the right shoulder of the interstate just after 3 a.m. He died from his injuries. The driver of the other vehicle was not injured. State police are trying to figure out what caused that crash. If you witnessed it, you are asked to give them a call.
New here at 10, a gun store employee is recovering tonight. He accidentally shot himself in the hand while handling a firearm. Southington police tell us it happened this afternoon at Lock and Load Firearms on Meriden Waterbury Turnpike. The employee thought the pistol was loaded. He accidentally pulled the trigger. The bullet hit his hand, and he is expected to recover.
Law enforcement officials in Massachusetts say the state's 911 system is now fully operational. It went down for several hours this afternoon. The outage impacted all communities across that state, but officials have yet to identify a cause. The state was asking people to either pull a firebox or call a police department directly if they needed help. Connecticut Emergency Management says our state did not experience any outages today.